Hey everybody, it's Scott O'Mato back for episode 12 of my Heat and Climate Let's Play. And guys, fall just slipped away from me. Autumn just slipped away because it is shorter. It is a shorter season. It starts on day 200 in this mod, all right? And I thought that from the config, but I didn't know for sure. But basically, you know, you start on day 41 and then summer starts on day 100 and fall starts on day 160. And so you get a 40-day fall. Now, that's not aligned with Serene Seasons. Serene Seasons will actually switch on day 220. All right, so it's a 60-day, but already the ice is freezing and stuff like that. And I don't know exactly what will happen. Like, see, my sugarcane, I think, is dying now. Yeah, sugarcane is all dying. I'm not sure what all crops will die. I do know that my seaweed down here will probably die off. Let's try to harvest what we've got left here. I'm getting probably really cold in the water. Let's see. See, I'm already cold and cool. Then I'm not sure about the wheat. Like, all this stuff probably won't grow anymore. But anyway, I've had a set of automated farms here. And this is using a regular dispenser, but with the mod Harvest with Dispenser from the same developer, DefeatedCrow, you can put shears in here and harvest this 7x7 area, all right? And then I've been using the clock from Bibliocraft, and you can set it, like it's set to 8 o'clock here, and you can set it to solid and a redstone. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, the sun rises at 6 and goes down at 18. Then it will send out a redstone pulse, and as long as you have a chest beside of it, it will, beside the dispenser, then it will harvest plants. So I've had several of the fields run like that. The cotton's been run like that. So I've got a lot of cotton. Then this was my mixed vegetables field. Again, I'm not sure what all of these will die off. You'll have to look at each crop and see if it can handle cool weather. Not all of them can, and then adjust the farms according to that, all right? But another thing that happened during fall that I noticed was that this wisteria, I don't know if it's just a, it didn't do it all, so I don't know if it has to be connected to a leaf block or something, but it gets these little green hanging deals on it. And when you do that, you can harvest it and get wisteria seeds, but they don't really seem to have any use to them. Like if you look in the mod, there's no recipe, or there's a recipe, but there's no use of them at all. Yeah, the seaweed. So, but then let me get these grapes. I don't know if they'll die. I'm not really sure, you know, what all is affected. I have not played this deep into the mod for these seasons. I don't think the tea leaves will die because they grow in extreme hills on their own. So I've been making these grape boxes from all the grapes that I get. And I've been doing that with some other crops as well. But let's go ahead and put up what I can and get our inventory back in shape. And then we'll do the things we need to do in this episode. Okay, so I've been eating this smoked salmon, and it's an easy food. You just put wood dust and boil it, and you'll get the smoked salmon. All right, and so that's pretty easy food. It's not great food, but because of the fishing, I got it in pretty high quantity. So not a problem. So let's go ahead and just put up what I can. The seaweed. Yeah. And the wisteria I'll put up as well. If I've got room in that chest is getting pretty full. So I don't know what will happen with like the climate smelting and stuff like that. Like if the cool weather affects that. Not really sure. So that'll be interesting to find out. But I've had a food setup over here where I've been running several of our raw ingredients. All right. So, you know, this is climate smelting. Let's see if in some way it gets affected by it being cool outside. No, it's boil. Yeah, I think it does, guys. Because it's got a fire stand underneath it, and the fire stand's normally oven. I think this has gone down to boil. Interesting. We'll have to look into that. But I've been running soy milk, so you basically just put seeds in here, and let me see if it's actually running now. It might not be. Use fluid. Yeah, it'll do boil, so it should be running, unless it's filled. I have to check that, but anyway, I've got a container of soy milk here. I've been running malt here, which malt's pretty useful. I've been running it with, let's see the recipe. I've been running it with seeds, but you could do wheat as well, and you'll get that malt. And then the use of it is used in fermentation to make ethanol. And so you can also use it in the reactor to do ethanol as well. It's, basically the same recipe. So in here, I've been running rennet. And I have to see if this is not running because it requires sugar, but you can use sugar and mushrooms, all right, and you get rennet. Or you can use that viscera, all right, that you get from killing animals. And this water will all freeze. This water will freeze. These are fermentation recipes, so they need to have a water block underneath them. Like you could see it under here where it says it needs to be wet. I don't know if ice is wet or how that works, but I've gotten raw milk and cream. So raw milk just from the cows, and then running the raw milk through here, I'm getting cream, right? That one's still running. This one's not, I don't think. But it could just be... Let's check that. It needs to be boil. Oh, the water's out. Oh, okay, I'm out of water here. I don't know if it gets affected by the climate smelting, but it shouldn't normally be boil. All right. So in this one, I'm running cheese, which you take that rennet and you mix it with raw milk and you get cheese. So rennet and raw milk, and this can be cool or whatever. This is fermentation, it'll tell you. And so it needed a water block underneath it as well. Now in this one, I've been running soup stock, and to do that, I've been using seaweed. All right, you can use other. Let's look back here to this. You can use meat and herbs and any vegetable, but the easiest one is just seaweed. Now it makes less at one go, but uses less materials. You can use bones as well. So there's several different ways, and these prawns you get from Guardians, I think. But yeah, my water's freezing. I don't know how that'll affect my water wheels. Got a horse that joined us. I did install storage drawers. At first I was considering going without them, but you just gotta have them. Craving for a rice plant. Yeah, I could do that. I've been trying to meet these cravings. I installed the mod to do that. Let me go grab a rice plant real quick. So it's kind of fun when you get later into the game because you have the materials. So it's wanting the actual plant. So that I may have those in the other one. Because I've got rice seeds in here. Right here. Okay. And I'll set up the storage drawers and stuff for that as well. They do. So this is the lotus that just died. So I got the lotus root from that. Which, by the way, the lotus is really weird, guys. I did figure it out. Right. If you look at lotus... all right, you'll see that it has these lotus seeds or these lotus petals. Now, if you use shears on it, you'll get these lotus petals. But if you use a wrench on it, this wrench, you'll sometimes get the lotus seeds too, as well as the lotus petals. I had to look at the source code to figure that out, right? So it's not documented that I saw anywhere, but if you use a wrench, it'll work. So that's kind of weird. And I think sometimes you'll actually get these black lotus petals too as a rare drop or something. I don't know. But anyway, all right, what were we doing? We need a rice plant. Okay, here we go, rice plant. All right, let's do that. Okay, so I got 5 minutes of haste for doing that. We go through and eat a bunch of this salmon. Get our hunger back up. It's not a very good food, but pretty easy. Yeah, if you keep eating, you'll get your saturation up. Okay, so guys, in this episode, we want to go ahead and produce the simple reactor and the press machine. All right, so let's go down here. Oh, by the way, I did go through and mine that all that ore that was in the original lime deposit over there. And this is basically what I've got. I've ran some of it, like my blue and green. I've ran some of the large and all that kind of stuff. So a cool thing that we want to make, like we can probably make it pretty soon. I don't know that we'll do it in this episode, is this green cube spell. All right, now this thing is OP, guys, if it does what it says, and I tested it in creative, but if it'll, all right, let's look at it. It says regenerate ore veins in the current chunk. So when you click on it, it consumes it, but it regenerates all the ores in that chunk. That's crazy. That's crazy. So if you use it where we got that lime stuff, we get double this, and we got that big lime deposit back there too. So, I mean, you could like remake your ores. That's crazy. That is a cool thing. So to make it, it's not all that hard. You have to make these cubes first. All right. So you have to make an inactive cube, and then you take and place that to be surrounded by flowers. And over a period of time, it doesn't take that long, maybe a day, then it'll turn into the activated cube, all right? And so the recipe for this inactive one is a green extract, which is basically just an emerald and some of this green thing, or an olivine. And then the green drop is just either one of those lotus and a green, or a serpentine and a green, or a malachite, all right, for that. And then you make this celestial block, and you just take compressed chalcedony, which you just take chalcedony and surround it around, and then smelt it, and you'll get that celestial block. So it's not that hard, guys, and that's crazy. So we'll be doing that during the winter, I'm sure. The only thing about mining in the winters is probably going to be cold underground, but we'll have to check that out. All right, so I should have the items that we need. I did make a to-do list clipboard here. So we're basically wanting to make the simple reactor, make the press machine. Then if we have time, we'll look into this mangaloid pick. And then I got to start building, guys. I got to get this building up. We haven't had much precipitation, but I don't know. If it's ice now, it should snow. If it rains, and if it snows, it's going to be a huge mess around here of snow. And then Serene Seasons, it'll definitely snow. All right, so let's go ahead and make the items here. So we'll start with this simple chemical reactor, and to do so we need to make the alloy spindle. All right, done that a bunch of times, but easy to do once you got the materials. I love the ore progression and stuff in here. It's really a lot of fun, like gathering these recipes. Like, they're complex, but they're not overly so. They're not really grindy. It's just kind of a fun crafting process and stuff that you have to go through. So I'm really enjoying this mod. I think it's really cool. All right, so that'll make that. There's the simple chemical reactor. I don't think we get an achievement for that. Then let's go ahead and make this press machine. Now, this press machine is an auto crafter, guys, pretty much. Automatic crafted item. It'll make certain items that the mod needs, but you can make plates. These plates that'll make pretty much any craftable item. And so it's an auto crafter run by Torque. So it's pretty cool. And then the simple chemical reactor, there's two levels of the reactors. There's the simple one, which will do a subset of recipes that the regular chemical reactor will do, but it'll get us started on that. All right, so let's make the press machine here, and it requires stainless steel ingots and then a tool steel spindle. All right, so that's the first time we've made that one, but let's make it real quick. And there we go. So tool steel is one of the higher tier metals. Then we should make it. You need an anvil as well, which I've already made. And then we have the press machine. Okay, so no advancement for that either. But we are going to try to do a unique setup here. Let me put up the remaining items I don't need here. Some nickel, silvers left, and then some tool steel. Okay, sort. But let's check, let me check this real quick as far as this block here too, and see what its temperature is. Kiln. Yeah, that makes sense. if I turn this on, it'll go up to smelting. Good. Yeah, smelting. All right, so maybe the climate doesn't change. I don't know. The cooling doesn't change, maybe. I'm not sure. All right, so we're going to try to do a unique setup here. I've got kind of where my walls are going to be. And we're going to build a storage room and stuff inside of here, underneath there, and have an area coming out in the end. And then we're going to do water wheels here. Now, of course, none of this in this episode, but just looking ahead in the future. Going to have to move all this because it's aligned with this wall over there. So, but that's just the thing. And like I said, I got all those items in the storage drawers. I mean, you just can't avoid it. There's so many items in here. All right, so we're going to do a water wheel setup with 6 water wheels. All right, 6 water wheels this time. So we're generally increasing in power, but we should have a good set of possibilities here. This setup worked really well. As you can see, I added the other hammer mill. That one has the titanium plate, so I have one with each one of the plates inside of it right here, and they're split from the cork pipe, so it'll just go in one of 3 directions. But I've been just mainly using this one right here, just putting the items in and feeding to that chest. But I just mainly use that one. But we want to do a setup like, let's say, yeah, here ought to be good. Okay, so let's dig here. Let me turn my substitution back on. Okay, and then we'll put down some dirt blocks. Like that. All right, so I figured out in creative that those water wheels can be stacked into each other. Right, so I could just put a water wheel there. Shears, that. Okay, so I can put a water wheel like right on top of this guy, like that. That's pretty cool. And run them with the same stream of water, right? You know, it'd be 2 separate streams, but they'll run with the same streams of water. Now, I know a way that does it where they're in a stair-like pattern too, and then that's what we'll build into there eventually. Okay, so that'll give us 6 water wheels in one place. Now we want to use gearboxes, all right? And we're still at the level of the regular gearbox. We hadn't had to move up yet because each one of these gives 16 torque. These will handle 32 torque. Well, actually 128 torque, so we're good on that. We should get 96 out of this, all right? So we want to put a gearbox like such, and then get my wrench, and we'll orient it around correctly to face whatever item that we want to work on, all right? But we'll actually put the full chemical reactor here. We're going to put 3 machines. We're going to have the press machine, and then we're going to have the reactor like that, all right? So we want to stack this and then make it to where that's facing downward. You can see it, the red there, but it's also like smaller there. So, you know, this gearbox will take 5 inputs and give it 1 output. So you can feed a gearbox into a gearbox. So that connects these wheels to this gearbox right here, all right? This has those 2, and so it gets the power of this gearbox and that one. So those are 4 wheels all combined. So we'll do the same thing to get 6 wheels combined, right? Like that. And then rotate it correctly like that. Okay, so now that'll get 6 wheels all combined down, focused on this input. So this should have 96 torque out of it, all right? Now we want to, again, hook up machines on the side, all right? So we want to hook up this simple chemical reactor, and we're going to use some gearboxes for it too. Its input goes into the back. We're going to have a gearbox. Yeah, I'm going to have a gearbox here, right? So let's rotate it to face that, right? And then I'll have that. Yeah. Okay, then we'll have a gearbox that goes into this guy, right? And the gearboxes are just a kind of easier way to combine that, because now I can just use one of the brass L shafts to connect this guy to it. All right, so I can get 2 of them coming from there. Now I could use like a split shaft, but I would like lose a little potentially. So a gearbox is kind of easier to do that way. All right, so on the other side, we'll do a similar thing, except we won't need to split them because this press machine feeds from the top, right? You know, you can see by where the connectors are. It can rotate, but it doesn't seem to like take the input. Like if I rotate it over, it seems to kind of really only work from the top. So let's see. Go this way and then rotate that guy. All right, so we'll hook up that one that way, and then we'll hook up this one, this other water wheel, that way. There. That would hook up all 3 of them. Now we'll rotate these wheels around and stuff just to give a split of power. Like whatever we're working on, like if we rotate one of these wheels, see, I can turn it on and off to where right now they're hooked to the gearbox. I could take it away from being hooked up from the gearbox, either one of these, and I can control the amount of torque that's being fed to it. Like if I unhook this one, it would remove that one from the system there, and I could split it up to go this way. It can't go both directions at the same time, but with a split you can. So it's a little complex, but it should be fairly adaptable, guys, for what we're doing. This guy here, all right, guys, this is 16, this is 32, this is 48, all right? And then if they're feeding from those other wheels, all right? So these shafts will only handle 32 max torque. So we need to do a steel L shaft. That'll get us to the next tier. Yeah, that's what the extra ingots were for. So steel shaft, right here, the L shaft for steel. All right, so let me get my steel. I had it all produced and ready to go. That's tool. We don't want tool steel. Oh, I already got the ingots on me. Okay. So we just have an extra one of those. We use them for sure. But all right, we want to make these steel ones. All right. So that will give us 128 torque possibilities. All right. So going with that. Now we'll do our steel spindle. And those 8. And then this. So another spindle, and then that. Okay, and then that. Yeah, so that'll give us 128. So that would cover, and we did get an advancement for that. Right. Now I remember. Okay, cool. All right, so like I said, this should be a fairly adaptable setup. And you can tell which way the wheels are oriented by which way they're spinning. So it's not that hard to keep up with. So we're going to do the same thing that we normally do and put in our dispensers. Okay, so let's do that. All right, so we're going to do trapdoor here, here, here. And I can take out some of these probably. We actually need one more high. There. Once the water flows, potentially even before, it's just a big mess if you don't. That one went someplace it wasn't supposed to. Let me just make myself a step up here. Easier to deal with. All right, so that ought to work. Well, we need one on the other side mirroring that where that one was. Let me get out of the block space. Okay, now bucket and water and a button. It should put a block in between them. I could trigger them both at the same time. Let's do that. Okay. We run up and get some water if it's not all frozen. Break it, of course. So we should be able to get plenty of ice cubes for tough as nails. That's for sure. Yeah, see, that's almost completely frozen now. cactus is still there. So that's interesting. I don't think it'll grow. Okay. Actually, I need 2 water buckets. Let me put 1 in. The stacking of watermills is really cool. That's neat that it can do that. You know, immersive engineering, you can't, I don't think. I mean, you could stack them above, totally above. But let's see. But don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure that's true. Now, see, I could actually get rid of these now if I wanted after the water flowed. Oh, okay. Okay, so let's put 1 on top here. Now. Yeah, there we go. So just remember that, guys. You got to cover up that middle because it's just about the water flow. All right, so we should be getting 96 torque out of this. So, again, I could swap all these around to cover any pretty much combination of this that I wanted, right? So all these are focused on this right now, but if I rotate, you know, these 3 wheels here, you see they switch direction. You could tell which direction, like that one's not switched up there. This one's going counterclockwise, that one's going clockwise. So that's not rotating yet. Let me try to get to it. Come on, guy. You can, I think, from the side. Okay, so that rotates this gear, and now this one's getting 31, and that one's getting 47. So basically 48. That's going into here. This one's not getting anything yet. I think it's easier to rotate them from the front here. Yeah. And so again, it's just shift click. When you shift, well, shift right click, it goes 180 degrees around. So now this guy's getting, oh, this needs to rotate. Oh, that's definitely not right. Needs to go blue to red. This should spin. Yeah. Okay. There we go on that one. That one's spinning. So see, that's getting 32. It should be getting one from the shaft, from the other direct one. I don't think this middle one's rotated. Yeah. There you go. So that's got 48. So you just need to kind of, you know, measure out what you could get from each one. This is not doing anything, so I've removed all from here. These are 2 spinning. And so I could split them out. Like if I wanted this one, I just rotate the wheels accordingly. So I could have, you know, each one doing 96, so 32 a piece if I wanted. Or I could give this one more power, 48, 16, you know, whatever. I can mix them up. So that's actually a really adaptable setup, guys, for what we're going to do. And we'll run the main reactor here. We'll probably have multiples of those because there's recipes for making fuel and stuff that you want to do. Some of these machines will have multiples up. But this guy is an auto crafter. We'll have to go over it in more detail, what it does. But see, it runs even if there's nothing in it. So it's good to be able to turn it off as well. And of course, I can turn the whole thing off with that water. But we'll have to go over it in more detail. And then the reactor, there's a lot of stuff it does. Interface. Huh. Empty hand. It's got to be an empty hand. Yeah. So that one acts weird. You have to have an empty hand to open it. But it has temperatures, and then it has catalysts and stuff you could put in, I suppose. I'm not sure if this one has catalyst. But anyway, that's going to be it, guys. We're kind of over time, of course. But I needed to get this set up and show you. And it's really cool. It's really pretty adaptable. And again, I'll have to feel out what the climate changes and stuff. But I'll be doing another episode like real soon after this. Not as far a distance in between. So that we can get these guys working a little bit. The main thing I want to use the reactor for is creating quartz. So here, you can use the reactor with quartz dust, and you need a quartz catalyst, so we need to make at least one of them, and you can do that. There's a way, I think. It's a drop from something or other. Yeah, it's a drop from some of these ores or something. Yeah, from granite. Yeah, so I got a bunch of granite, and we'll run that through and then get one, and then we have to use it as a seed for the rest of them. Anyway, that's going to be it, guys. Thanks for sticking with me. Hope you're enjoying it. This mod is really, really cool. Gosh, I'm having tons of fun with it. Anyway, this is Scott O'Mato. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.